Welcome to Post-Flood Responsibilities, presented by the Indiana Department of Natural Resources Division of Water. You can also find our post-flood guidance document on our website. There are many step-by-step procedures, common forms, and much more in the document. The items listed here are all part of your post-flood response. In this video, we'll be concentrating on the flood response portion. The pre-flood preparation is covered briefly in duties of a local floodplain administrator. Look for future videos on substantial improvement and substantial damage and permitting that will cover the repair and reconstruction permit process. You'll want to document the extensive flooding. This can be done by photographs and video, making notes in a notebook, setting high water marks, and adding information to the local GIS platform. You'll want to notify the public that you will be conducting inspections and damage assessments. Notify them that permits are required for repairs and reconstructions. You may choose to do this by newspaper, radio, television, posting flyers, or even using social media. You may also choose to tag structures or send notification letters to the property owners. While all damaged structures need to be inspected to determine whether they are substantially damaged, you'll need to document for your records by using photos, depth damage field estimates, or SDE. Make sure you make good notes about the depth of flooding, record the water lines, any compliant enclosures, or other distinguishing features for each structure. Let's look at the substantial damage rule. Keywords: cost of repair. How much is it going to cost to repair the structure to its pre-flood state? When we talk about market value, notice that we are only talking about the value of the structure. We are not talking about the value of the entire property. When establishing the market value of the structure, you must make sure you have deducted the value of the land. Structures which have sustained serious damage from any source, not just flooding, to the extent the cost of the repair would exceed 50% or more of the market value of the structure before the damage occurred, must conform to the flood damage prevention standards of the ordinance. Keep in mind, when looking at the cost of repairs, if a property owner wishes to make other improvements which go beyond the pre-damage condition, the cost of those improvements must also be included in the cost of the repairs when determining if a structure is substantially damaged. For these determinations, you also need to determine what part of the floodplain the structure is in, floodway or fringe. The community has some options to make substantial damage determinations. One is the depth damage field estimate. Those that fall in the 40 to 50% damage range require further information in order to make a determination. Notice these boxes have dark gray shading in them. Also notice that with just a small amount of water, manufactured homes are considered substantially damaged due to the way in which they are constructed. Substantial damage begins at 4 feet above grade, with the assumption that the lowest floor is at 3 feet above grade at a minimum. Sometimes the water line is more difficult to spot as you see debris on the siding 6 to 8 inches below the actual water line. Former planner in Columbus, Indiana, after flash flooding occurred in this area and staff were assisting with the damage assessments. How will you determine the structure's pre-damage value? A few options are listed on this slide. Appraisal should be current or have been completed recently, not being several years old. Bills of sale can also sometimes be misleading, and they will need to be adjusted for land values or other structures on the property and they must also be recent. Tax assessments are generally a good tool in Indiana since we are on a true market value tax basis, but you'll want to check with the local assessor to see if adjustments to the structure value may be necessary. One common adjustment is on waterfront properties where the land values may appear to be much higher than they would normally because of the proximity to the water. Here we see lists of what should be included in the cost of the repairs, cost of labor, and some exclusions. The best guidance for what are considered acceptable methods of determining fair market value and what must be included or can be excluded in cost is found in the FEMA Substantial Improvement, Substantial Damage Desk Reference, FEMA P758. Here are some typical repairs with just a few feet of water. The total cost can be significant, sometimes equal to or greater than 50% of the structure's market value before the damage. Then it must be elevated if residential, and elevated or flood-proofed if non-residential, and meet other applicable local ordinance requirements. This is the basic procedure for substantial damage. Another tool that is available is a substantial damage estimator, along with the user manual and field workbook. When determining the extent of damages, although it is not commonly used in Indiana because the inspector must have a certain degree of building knowledge to accurately enter the necessary data, like an insurance claims adjuster. This is the home screen from SDE 3.0. You can add structures either individually, or it also has bulk import-export functions that allow you to upload multiple structures at one time from a geodatabase. You can also add maps to the tool for your community. Using a laptop or tablet, you can do field assessments and add the data to the tool when you get back to the office and connect to your network. When permitting improvements or repairs, you'll need sufficient documentation that supports the planned or permitted work, whether it be construction drawings or a detailed scope of work. Most are listed on this slide. Just like other permit files for development in the special flood hazard area, you'll want to ensure that records are not transferred to another department where they may end up being destroyed. These files must be maintained by the local floodplain administrator in perpetuity. Thank you for watching Post-Flood Responsibilities.